Welcome to the MaYapinion podcast, a show that focuses on leadership, life, and love to empower women around the world to be the best versions of themselves. The MaYapinion podcast is a weekly show with Maya's Motivation Monday, focusing on leadership topics for women, and special edition episodes that feature guest interviews and current events. Now, all in her opinion, here is your host, Maya Roffler.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Maya's Motivation Monday. Today we're going to be talking about consistency. And consistency is important in every aspect of our lives. I'm sure you guys see, I don't know how many quotes every single day about consistency and not giving up and just work at it every single day. But it is super important in leadership and really important in leading a team from afar or remote leadership, which is what we really focus on now and obviously on this podcast as well, because I've done remote leadership for so long and I'm super passionate about leadership in general, as you guys know. It's funny though, because I was really passionate about talking about this and consistency in general. It's top of mind right now as I'm going back to physical therapy, and it's very intense, and I've just stuck with it and been very consistent, and I've not given up. And those of you who follow me on social media know I got in a really terrible car accident a year and a half ago, and it's been a journey. And my consistency with going to PT and the ebb and flow of everything, I'm not running like I used to run, and it's been a challenge, but I'm not giving up, and consistency is important. If I decided not to go to physical therapy, I would never heal, and I think it's just the basis for everything in life. That's my little side story with this, but I'm in PT. I think of this topic 2 weeks ago, and I started to do serious PT. And what I mean by serious PT, for those of you who have been in bad accidents, it's horrible. My heart goes out to you. This is different. I'm actually exercising with someone and he's pushing me, and it's really great. It's really great. So I never stopped PT, but this is a different level. It's exciting. So I digress. But I was thinking about this topic and couldn't wait to talk about it in a leadership perspective aspect, but then also adding the remote element into it and leading from afar. And I kind of chuckled to myself though, because last week, if you guys listened to it, if you haven't, go back, we talked about confidence. And I started to think, wow, I'm kind of doing a series with C's for leadership. And it made me think about my bridal days, with diamonds. And you had to know that kind of stuff, right? With the C's. If you guys know what I'm talking about, carrot, color, clarity, and cut. And then the reason I thought about this is because there is the argument that there's a fifth C, and it's confidence, knowing that everything is accurate and right and blah, blah, blah with your paperwork and diamonds. So last week I talked about confidence, so I kind of chuckled to myself. I'm like, okay, so here we go. We're talking about consistency, and that's kind of like a diamond. So let's talk about it. So why is consistency important? It's important in everything that we do. It's important in our personal relationships. It's important in relationships in general. It is important in just what I was talking about. If we want to see some kind of physical transformation in our lives, if we're consistently eating poorly, we're going to gain weight, become unhealthy, XYZ. If we are exercising, starting to eat healthy, I'm also on this very strict diet to heal things in my body. So it's very high protein now. Again, I told you guys I'm going super hardcore with this. So I'll probably do a live on Instagram about it. But if you're consistently doing one or the other, you're going to have that result. No, it's not going to happen tomorrow. If I decide to have a whole piece of cake or a bottle of wine off my one day off my diet, no, one day is not going to throw you off. It's about consistency. Am I consistently always eating well? Am I consistently always working out? Then it's okay sometimes to, that's not the norm though. You have to be consistent to see results. also, it's just in any success story, there's this big misconception that there's overnight successes. There's no such thing as an overnight success. Behind every successful person, there is a story. There is consistency. They were working hard at something for an extended period of time, and then all we see is the result of that. And I say all of us because we're the ones seeing it, but their partner, their children, their family, their friends, they saw the hard work. That's what is behind a success story. It's consistency. So why does that matter as a leader? Why is it important to be consistent as a leader? Well, one of my favorite episodes on my podcast that I've launched in the relaunch is about communication. I think you guys clearly know that communication is so important to me. I have a podcast for that reason. I'm very vocal on Instagram, not as much on Facebook. Maybe I should be. You guys let me know. But I am a communicator. I love to speak. I love to write. I love to just communicate in general. So I think communication and being able to effectively communicate is imperative for life in general. But if you're going to be an effective leader, it's imperative. But think about it this way. The reason consistency is that added element and is really important, and I was so excited to talk about this because I'm inspired with this right now, is because, let's use an example. So if you go to an amazing sales kickoff meeting, a lot of people that listen to me are in sales because I was in sales for so long, and I still am. I think I'll always be. And you go to your annual sales kickoff meeting, and this applies to a lot of people too. Think about your annual meeting or your quarterly meeting, and it's really fun, and you get together and you stay overnight somewhere, or even if you win a trip, right, with work, you hit a certain goal and you guys go away. It's a great experience. And you listen to your leader effectively communicate all the things that are going to go on with the company for the upcoming year. It's exciting, and it pumps you up and you're ready to go. But once you leave, is that going to carry you through every single day? Is that going to inspire you every single day? Is that going to get you going through the times when you have a customer screaming in your face, or, we're not doing a whole lot in person, it's coming back a little bit, but on the phone they're yelling at you, through an email, through the hard times? Is that inspirational speech? Is that amazing dinner? Are those awards? All those things that happen? Maybe, the trip to the beach for the sales kickoff or wherever you went. Is that going to get you through those times? Are you going to say, you know what, that speech 6 months ago, that was incredible. I'm going to think back to that. Hell no, you're not going to think back to that. You're going to want your leader to be there for you consistently. Those are great bonding events. Those are great bonding things. And I come from events in addition to corporate retail and startups and a couple other things. Those are my specialties. Those are the areas that I've worked in. Those are the industries I'm knowledgeable about. But it's a great experience. But it's what happens before and it's about what happens after that builds that experience to make it even better. And what I mean by that is what I was saying before. When you're having a crappy day, you're not going to think about, oh, it's so fun in the Bahamas when we had that sales kickoff meeting and we all had too many drinks with the CEO. No. You're not going to be thinking about that when you lost one of the biggest sales ever and you need some guidance and you need to win that back. You're not going to be thinking about that when you have a client who is super upset with you because your product malfunctioned and you need some guidance on how to correct that. My list could go on. It is dependent completely on what you do for a living, what your industry is. Are you a CEO or owner of your own company, or do you oversee a division? It doesn't matter. You're a leader, or you aspire to be one, which is incredible as well. So how do you create that consistency? Well, think about the examples that I gave you in the beginning of this. Think about your relationships. Did you have like your best friend in your life? Were you guys best friends right away? I don't think so, unless you were born in the same hospital and that just kind of happened. It was through consistency. It was through that person being there for you, that girlfriend being there for you, or your guy friend being there for you always, through a text, and you know you can rely on that person. Consistency. They are there for you in a friendship capacity. Your partner. They're your partner because of consistency. You knew that they would do the things that you need to feel fulfilled. You knew that they would communicate the way that you want to be communicated to, and, back and forth. You are fulfilled with that, and it doesn't happen overnight, but it happens. And that's why they're your partner, because it's consistency. If you are not in the shape you want to be right now, you can reflect back and know, okay, this happened because I probably sat around a little bit too much during the quarantine, or whatever the case may be. Maybe drank a little too much. We all did. I love my wine. We know. But then there's also the positive side. If we have been working out consistently every day, and then we start to look back at pictures of ourselves 6 months later, and we're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how far I've come. It is not just about what you do one time, what you do for this grand gesture. That is the foundation for a strong relationship and leadership, and being a strong leader and a mentor and a guide and that quote-unquote boss, which I'm not. I like being a boss babe, sure, but I don't always like the word boss. But you being a boss or a supervisor, sure. That's not what makes you a great boss or a great supervisor, is that crazy experience you give someone. It's the day-to-day. Just like any other relationship. So I talk about in the communication episode too, and I talk about this on a lot of episodes, how important the one-on-one is. It's so important because that is kind of the first step of consistency, and it's one of the first things I put in place as a leader. And when I walk into somewhere and I'm taking over a team and they don't have consistent one-on-ones, or they don't have a consistent team meeting too, I shudder. And I know I have my work cut out for me, because that is the foundation. Everyone should know that they have a place to go every single week. 30 minutes minimum, an hour and a half for some people. As I've spoken about before, everybody's different and requires a different amount of attention. And it also can depend on their business, their volume, what they're doing, and where they are. And sometimes they need more mentoring. You have to feel that out as a leader. But the consistency and developing that. So the team consistency and then the individual consistency. But it doesn't stop there. And I know you might be thinking, oh my God, then all my time is spent with them. Yes, it is. You're a leader. They are the people that are driving your company, your division, your branch, whatever it is that you're managing. There's so many different dynamics in industries. So I feel like I just have to shout a couple out and then say whatever it is. We have so many dynamics now. There's so many different business dynamics, which I think is incredible. But if you're listening to this, chances are you're a leader at some capacity, or you want to be one. And if you're not doing the one-on-ones, implement them immediately. If you are doing a team meeting, that's great, but there are always going to be one or two people that talk and the rest won't. So you have to have those one-on-one meetings. In addition to that, you have to, I stress this so much, be there for your team. Be there for them. Ask them how the hell they're doing. If you feel like somebody has been quite quiet in the group chat or Slack, or you're not hearing from them, don't wait a week for their one-on-one. Reach out to them. If you have someone that reaches out to you consistently, that's great, but not everybody on the team is going to do that. So creating that consistency there is huge too. In addition, letting your team know when you're available. Creating boundaries. Creating boundaries is consistency. A lot of leaders get confused about this. It's okay to set boundaries. And it's even better that you communicate with them. Share your calendar with them. Don't share your personal calendar with them. They don't need to know that. Why? No. They're not your friends. Yes, Sometimes friendships develop from working relationships. That's fine. But they don't need to see that you're going to a happy hour at this time and you're going, no. But sharing your work calendar and then explaining to them, hey guys, look, Mondays I have this meeting. I'm in for 2 hours. I'm in an executive meeting on Wednesdays at this time. And Fridays, I'm unavailable from this and this. But you guys are my priority. You're my front line. Text me if you need me. Communicate with them. That's creating consistency. We crave consistency as human beings. Think about it. In all of your relationships, you have the stronger bond to the individuals in your life that create a sense of trust and comfort. And where does that come from? Consistency. My closest friends have shown me consistency, that I can communicate with them when I need to, that I can trust them always, and that they're always going to be transparent with me and will come to a solution. Same with my partner. And that takes time and trust and building, but consistency. And as a leader, and when you're at work, you spend more time at work than you do anywhere else. So why would leadership be the exception to this? Why would being a leader be the exception to this? So it's okay to create those boundaries and then also let them know, hey guys, look, my family time starts at 7, but if there's an emergency, I'm best by email, I'm best by text. Creating those boundaries is great because we all like the boundaries too. We all want to know, great, this person has a life, this is when they're doing these things. It builds the relationship and it humanizes you as a leader. But if you aren't doing these things right now and you are a leader, or if you aspire to be a leader, make sure you implement these things. But if you aren't doing these things, get that one-on-one down. A team meeting every week is not enough. You will never get to know your team. And then in addition to that, really start to hone in and figure out who are the ones that need a little bit of the TLC throughout the week. Make yourself available. Make your schedule known because it shouldn't be a secret. You're their leader. Why would that be a secret? Create that consistency by showing them what you're doing because they'll show what they're doing back to you. You are guiding them. You are leading them. So when you show consistency and you're showing that these are your meetings, these are the things that you're doing, this is what's happening in your life, they'll be consistent as well. And then that's your foundation for your relationship. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great week, and we'll see you back here next week for Maya's Motivation Monday.
Thank you so much for listening to the MaYapinion podcast. You can catch up on past episodes on the MaYapinion podcast website at www.mayapinionpodcast.com, as well as read the MaYapinion blog and contact Maya directly with your questions. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at MaYapinion Podcast and Maya Roffler. We'll see you back here next week.